City, obviously for Wall Street, but not today. That's because of this. Eviction filings, we're learning, are 50% higher than they were pre-pandemic. And the city on your screen, Houston, is leading the way.
Some other cities in this Associated Press report include Minneapolis, St. Paul, Nashville, and Phoenix. With us now, Brandon Arnold is the Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union. Brandon, Princeton's University Eviction Lab, it finds a 78% increase in evictions in the cities they track. Now, this, of course, follows the end of the eviction moratorium that we saw throughout the pandemic. But what other factors are playing into these high stats?
Yeah, obviously the moratorium had a big impact because there's a backlog of evictions that's taken place. And a lot of municipalities and states have also enacted policies that have made it more difficult for landlords to evict tenants. So a lot of this is happening from the government side of things, but also more broadly, we're just seeing housing costs go through the roof. We're seeing family budgets strained, and therefore we're finding people that are having a more difficult time just making ends meet. And that means some difficulty in paying rent, paying their mortgages. They get behind on these payments, and therefore they are subject to the eviction process.
Yeah, and obviously it's a bigger deal for renters. Obviously, 50% higher. This would make it difficult. You're going to have to find another place to live. If you have an eviction filing against you, it makes it even harder to apply and be successful in that right, because you have that following you as well. I wanted to play this if we can. We do have one woman who's been evicted. This was in Las Vegas. Here's what she told the Associated Press about it.
If you were impacted by COVID, you could apply for rental assistance. So I applied. I never heard from them. Months going by. 2 or 3 months went by before I actually spoke to anybody. I tried everything. I called all the housing, affordable income housing, full. I called different places to live. If I've had an eviction, even if I had $1 million, they wouldn't take me.
So that's an anecdote, right? That's one lady's experience. And if you think about renters in New York City, they dropped rental prices in the city so that they could be more affordable. They went not only up, they went even higher than they were pre-pandemic. People are finding that difficulty as well. But talk about that and perhaps what is next for renters? How can renters be more intelligent in their decision making during this some difficult time?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really tough time for renters right now and homeowners alike. But what we need, there's no question about it, we need more housing supply. More housing supply is going to drive down costs. And the problem we have here is when you make it impossible to evict people, which we have in the past, what you do is actually lessen the incentive to invest in housing. We want more people investing in housing. We want people building apartment buildings. We want people renting out their secondary homes. But if you tell those people you can't evict somebody from their property, therefore, you reduce the ability to actually recoup those investments because instead of actually collecting those rent checks and being able to support a business, you're getting nothing. You're spending more money on legal fees trying to evict these people. So we need an eviction process that is fair, that is appropriate, and that works. We don't currently have one. So a lot of this comes from the government. The government has created a lot of bad policies that have driven up the cost of housing, that have lessened the incentive to invest in more housing, and that is really driving up rents, it's driving up mortgages and home prices, and it's making it more difficult for people to keep a roof over their head, let alone sustain the American dream.
Yeah, plenty of work to be done to find a solution to this challenge. Brandon Arnold, thanks so much for joining us with your insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.